Hi everyone.
Hi there.
I'm Leina.
I'm Fleur.
And thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've seen our posts that we've already put up on the page, on LinkedIn, in our group, on Instagram, wherever we possibly
Every possible
can.
platform.
So I'm just checking that we're actually live here. There we go. We've got people who are on board. So my blood's boiling.
I know. It's like...
I literally, I think we were in Perth 2 years ago, and I'd put up a full rant about sizing and the appalling representation of inclusive sizing within the fashion industry. And it turns out we are straight back to where we were 2 years ago.
What a regression.
Oh, I just can't even believe it. So we've got Summer here as well on our team who's going to be reading out comments.
Hi, I'm the voice in the background.
But literally what sparked this is I'd had an EDM e-newsletter come through from Ragtrader. It was the second one that I'd received talking about, and these were like key influential people that are in the fashion industry saying who they were excited about to see in Fashion Week, about the luxury brands that were on offer and the whole shift within the industry since COVID for people to want to invest in luxury items because they've had different funds, I guess, from not traveling and stuff. Now, the one thing that was missing from all of these labels that were represented there was anything that goes over a size 16.
Yeah, pretty much anything. Well, a little bit of 16 offering, but mostly stopped at 14, didn't it?
Yeah, so we had, out of the 70 labels I think that are showing at Fashion Week, there were only 4 that went over a size 16, and that was literally that they had size 16 or went to an 18, and that is it. The reason we are so... I'm not going to use the language miffed about this is because we know that the average Australian size woman is between size 14 to 16. So why on earth these labels continue to stop at that size and not actually have a balance in sizing over that at all, and also have zero representation of it on the catwalk?
And if they did, the media has then still filtered it through and portrayed a completely different message to us still, which reinforces that skinny is cool and everyone else is not. And I think this really just highlights, because we're all very intelligent women out there and we're very vocal about what we want to achieve with ourselves and our worlds and everything, to pay lip service to body positivity and then present this to us, it's just a bit of a slap in the face, really. It doesn't really represent how we feel about ourselves and how we should be showcased as you know, gorgeous, amazing, wonderful woman, and then just still reinforce it with this is what is the norm and this is what we expect as the norm is really disappointing.
And as a brand, you know, we see these stories coming through constantly from our customers in regards to how they may be treated in boutique stores. You know, the fact that plus size categories still exist within stores, within even on e-commerce platforms where they literally have a separate category because your size doesn't fall into the mainstream that these labels and brands want to be represented.
And that's where the conversation started for us 2 years ago, was actually wanting to drop the plus and go, oh, it's just women's size.
Your size is your size.
Yeah, exactly.
Your size is your size.
Size is your size. We've got lots of support for this post. We've got Amanda Justice thanking us. Well said. Karen Parsons, looking forward to this chat. I think we all have been. And Heather Jean King says hello.
Thank you. And look, really what we want to really encourage you to do is to share this post. This is not about us as a brand. This is about, I think, as far as we can all say, we have had an absolute guts full of what this looks like as far as size representation in the industry. And when we're saying that Australian Fashion Week, who supposedly represents us as a country as to how we sit in fashion,
well,
and
actually
for this
represents
to show up,
our industry, Leina, and that's why we're really annoyed about it, is that it's not representing us as a brand that takes us in with the integrity that we take this actual topic forward and bring to the market for you. It's actually once again going, well, actually what you do we don't value either. So, you know, you need to value this. This is actually a really, really valid conversation.
And I think also as well, like this year at the budget announcements, there was a huge amount of money that was also added into eating disorders because they are so rife across Australia, across the world, and yet this continues to be the norm that we see this playing out. So
we're saying we're not accepting it.
We're not accepting it. And we really want to open up this conversation. We'd love you to share it. We want to get it out there. Please tag the brands, tag the people that are not having the correct representation in their brands, tag Australian Fashion Week, because this is not okay. And I think that we can see from the response in the posts, in the comments, that this is not as a general how we stand within the industry, but also within consumers as well.
Well, as women as well.
I can see lots of comments coming through,
Full
Summer.
representation.
Support, they're big comments as well.
you can't keep up, Summer.
Supporting us and saying how fabulous we are and that we are inclusive and we include everybody. And there was a fantastic comment about some companies will charge more.
Yeah.
For sizes. So,
And
and they love that we don't do that.
Because there's a back end logical reason why we don't, because you cut different sizes together and that's how you use up it's.
But also, let's just also
I'm
clarify,
so
because
rolled.
a lot of you might even go, well, why do brands ridiculously stop it? It's easy to design up to size 14, relatively, right?
Yeah.
Keeping your product and your design features. Beyond there, it requires design skill. And that is a fact. And then to apply it to a commercial thing as well, it requires a lot of coordinating. It's quite complex. And that is why generally most brands will stick to a very small size run from that commercial viability. So why would you want to reward that company with your business when they're not actually investing the time and energy into perfecting that fit? It really is something that floors me when you miss out on the opportunity.
Do you know what the interesting thing here as well is that it's not only clothing brands, it's also accessory brands. So it also feeds into, I saw one of the comments that came through on the post in relation to footwear, into shoes, into jewelry. You only ever see jewelry kind of being placed on one sort of size body as well. And, you know, hey, walk out on the street, take a look at who's around there and get back to me on what you think the average size is.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few comments about swimwear.
Shocking.
Awful.
And to be clear as well, there's also a lot of brands out there that are doing size inclusivity really well, and it needs to be supported. But I think for this particular topic, why we've got so riled up is because we live and exist in the Australian fashion industry, and to see it being represented in that such a small mind, and you know, it was like a bad flashback going in and having a look at all the catwalk shows, and it was that same figure.
Same format. I mean,
same format.
One thing that
issues
COVID's
popping
taught
up.
us is that there's some very progressive movements happening, and people have really reevaluated and approaching things differently. And to sort of see, one, it's great to actually be showcasing and having a live fashion parade again, but to still revert back to an old format, it's just, you know, missed opportunity, I say.
Absolutely.
Same but different.
Sorry. I just saw Naomi's comment about the not being able to find boots that go up to the
calf. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the struggle is real.
The struggle is real, and there's a lot of support, a lot of people feeling it personally or for their children, their daughters.
Yes.
You know, this is not just our generation, it's generations to
And
come.
on that note there too, the message and trying to be positive and not really make a conversation around your body, but unfortunately when you are trying to, your children, your daughters are trying to dress and create their own style and so forth, and then to be faced with that at a young age, and then to have to combat that conversation around it, it's actually not you, it's them as in the manufacturers. Is a tough one.
It was really interesting because Forever New, not so long ago, they released a curve range. And we were actually really excited about it because we thought, wow, this is such change, because you need the big verticals to actually get on board to make real change.
Yeah.
Because it feeds through everything. And then they didn't release it into their stores. They only released it online. Now, I don't know if that's even more of a clear message that, hey, we'll take your money, but we won't have you in our stores.
Yeah.
Because
we don't want to affiliate.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
Yeah. So, look, thank you for joining the conversation. I know there are so many comments going on there. Fleur and I will both be on overnight to have a look at comments and respond to all of you as well. And Hayley and KP are on there as well. And of course, Summer's there. Lots more comments coming through, Summer.
And they're big, you know, everyone's got their own story to share.
Yeah,
about,
absolutely.
Which is amazing, and they're sharing them and supporting each other, and it's fantastic.
And also as well, just to be clear, that the reason that we are so passionate about it is because we are so close to our customer base, and we hear these stories way too many times. way too many times. And you know, I know that you've all got individual stories, but what's really scary is how many people can relate to that same exact story.
And I just keep on saying we're in 2021 and we really want the dialogue to change around this, and we really want it to be seen as a norm that we represent every possible size that we can.
So the hashtag that we have going is AFW We Call BS. And this is really just taking a stance against these sort of things continuing to happen, and we're just so disappointed. But thank you for jumping on board. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for getting the message out there. If we want to make change, we really have to actually be part of making that change. So have a great day, and we will see you really soon.
Thanks, ladies. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.